So now that we've established that, going back to Mark's question,
Mhm.
What has to, if someone wants to be a private lender, or if I'm looking for, I'm out there as an investor looking for someone to be a private lender, because it's a question we get all the time. Who do I go target, and how do we, like, the mechanicals to how to actually make this work? If two people agree, yeah, I will do it for this percent, this return, what happens next?
Yeah, it's a great question, Tom. So earlier I mentioned, we just need a paper trail. That's a little flippant, but in the case of hard money lending, there needs to be a note. A note needs to be drafted where the IRA is the lender, making this loan to the borrower at a, rate and a maturity date that's listed on the note. That note, again, is held by the IRA. And, I don't know if the listeners are aware of, these legal documents, promissory notes that get created, but we would be, the custodian would be involved. The custodian that's holding the IRA for your benefit would technically be the lender and send the cash out of your IRA, but it needs to be backed by a piece of paper. I think, Mark, you said you can't just go off on the street finding somebody and we're just going to wire somebody some cash out of your IRA and hope you get a return on it. That's not how it works. There needs to be a little bit of we don't go as far as say a due diligence, but we do administratively review our client deals to make sure it's feasible to hold in an IRA, meaning, if it's a lender in this case, that they know that they're borrowing from an IRA and that you need to make your payments back to the IRA, not to the individual. You need to make sure P&I is all coming back to the same place where their IRA is held. And then when the note has lived its life cycle, it's, we're sitting on cash in an IRA as opposed to that note. If you're looking at an equity deal, Tom, something like an operating agreement that has a schedule of members, that are coming into the LLC, we would get involved in there where we, take the scheduled member isn't, Tom, it's Tom's IRA. So again, there needs to be some sort of paper backing the deal. I'm sure a lot of your audience has dealt with notes or operating agreements before, but that's where the magic sort of happens. That's what our kind of back office, you'd call it, looks at when supporting our client transactions.